Man.
That's my brother.
Welcome to another edition of the Rashad Mills Show, courtesy of PowerPurposeRadio.com. Every Tuesday night at 8 p.m., you guys could have chosen to be anywhere in the world, but you decided to be here with me, and I'm always appreciative and grateful of that. In addition to that, I'm always happy to have another opportunity to bring on another guest who's making positive changes in the community. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Mr. Terrence Briggs. Man, thank you so much for joining me on the show.
No problem.
Man, how you feeling this evening?
Good to be here.
Good.
Okay.
So, man, you are doing some things in the community that I thought that it needed to be highlighted. And not that you were after any attention seeking or anything like that. But what you have done and continue to do in the community in a relatively short period of time, I think is one of those things that it needs to be highlighted. And I think that you could explain it much better than I can. So just kind of tell the people what you are involved in and the mission of it, because right now it's needed right now, especially in the black community.
I'm a co-founder of but I do have cohorts. We started with 6 people, 7 people, including myself. And basically, I came to them with the idea like a book club, but a business club, like the Oprah Book Club. I would see how Oprah would, she'd co-sign a book, and then the sales would skyrocket right afterwards.
Okay.
And I was talking to a friend of mine who's actually an admin in the group, Good Tree Patrons Club. That's what we're talking about. But she was in a group before that, where they were donating money to black businesses. And I said, why donate the money? Why don't we just patronize? I like this is what they're here for. So a few weeks went past. I still played with the idea and trying to figure out a cool name and stuff. And then our brother Keon Carpenter passed.
Right. Yeah.
That was like late December, and he was real into his community. Like the football career was fine and all that. He was a standout college athlete, and he had a decent pro career. But the stuff he did outside of that was way more important. And he didn't really play with brothers being soft and not standing up for their people. He had a bunch of charities, and then when he passed, I was like, we gotta do something. And so that's when I really kicked it in gear. So a couple of days after that, I think it was like January 3rd, we came out with the Good Tree Patrons Club. Before it, I had a name like Ojim or something.
Okay.
And my brother was like, nah. So he came with my twin brother. So somebody will see him and you see him. So we look just alike. But he came with the idea with the Good Tree, and it was the symbol was from like an African proverb. So we got connection to the motherland. And we came out, and the first blitz we did was, and the blitz, for those who don't know, is blitz when we target a business for a week, and we just, I tell people, hey, this is the business, let's go hit them for a week. We go there and we patronize them for a week. First business we did was Everyone's Place on North Avenue, which is so fitting that we started off doing a black bookstore. And we started off with like 150 people. Most of them were people that I knew. They were friends of mine. And just kept growing. It's like every day was like 100 people getting put on. You know what I'm saying? And,
Wow.
So that was 3 months ago. So now we got to about 8,000.
So just for people watching out there, PowerPurposeRadio.com and certainly Facebook Live as well, just kind of recap, the Good Tree Patrons Club is would you call it an organization that you and some other people, it's a club, that you and some other people started, 6 individuals other than yourself?
All women, and that was purposely done.
Okay.
Not to say that they weren't more than qualified for doing what was asked, but I purposely went about that and said that I need some sisters down.
Some strong sisters. So you guys started this club in order to patronize black businesses. It started, the first week you said maybe 150 people. This Facebook group right now is up to 8,000 members. Now I don't know if all 8,000 members are actually actively participating, but man, when you think about that and the impact that you have had so far, just you and the other people have had so far, kind of give me your thoughts on where that you want to take this, because it's grown rapidly in such a short period of time. Where would you like to see that in another year?
Again, because it's so new, we didn't have any intentions of this thing being this big. I was like, yo, if I get 500 people, that's cool.
So you've clearly surpassed the expectations, right?
300. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I just need 300, and we can go do this, and
wow.
And we'll have some type of impact. So when it gets to 8,000 people, then you start having people calling you, trying to give you money, trying to do deals. And I don't have a problem with that, because at the end of the day, it's still business. We're dealing with business.
Mm-hmm.
As far as where I see this in a year, it has to leave Baltimore. And now we still have a tree in Baltimore, but the goal is to have trees in all, urban areas, black areas, wherever black folk are, and just have them there.
So for people that are really not in tune with this, and certainly we've heard about it more since the 45th president has been in office, and the power that black people have.
To black folk, by the way.
Absolutely. The power that people have in the dollar, in the African American dollar. For somebody that is not in tune with this, why would you tell them that it's so important to buy black?
Everything in our community, all the ills of our community, all stem from economics.
Elaborate on that.
Poor people commit crimes against each other. That tends to be the case. Mm-hmm. No matter where you go. You can go to a poor white neighborhood, they're going to have a higher crime rate than a wealthier white neighborhood. So what's happened in our community is, we gotten to the point where we depend on others for everything. I remember a few years ago, this always stuck to me, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said that black people don't even make their own underwear.
Wow.
And it was just like, this is the most basic stuff that, people have and use. We don't make any of it.
Why do you think that is?
This is, all of this you can kind of trace back to desegregation. Mm-hmm. Because prior to desegregation, prior to 1954, you had black businesses, you had black gas stations, you had
absolutely
black hotels, you had black hospitals. And were they on tier with the white ones? Some of them probably were, some of them weren't. But we didn't have a choice at that junction in time. It was like, if you Negroes, want some gas, you're going to have to get it from yourself. Mm-hmm. So we had those institutions, we had that stuff set up, because we had a much more stable black family. Now, granted, we were still being, white supremacy was still being practiced, and it's still being practiced now.
Absolutely.
And it's at full force. Like, they're doing old school, turn of the 20th century white supremacy, But it was kind of like some type of insulation from it. Once you had desegregation, then that's when you start seeing black folks moving away from their businesses and going to white businesses. And you can blame a lot of this on, I know this is kind of like taboo, but some of this lies at the foot of our civil rights leaders of the 1960s. Mm-hmm. Because you got to look at what was it that they wanted to accomplish. They went and asked for the wrong things.
So you think many of our civil rights leaders, for all the accomplishments that they did do, they lacked the importance of the financial.
What did they accomplish? Exactly. What did they accomplish? I'm not saying, and I don't want to be disrespectful because a lot of these men and women, they put their lives on the line. So I can't take that from anybody. If you're willing to die for what you believe in, you know, I'll pop my collar to you. But that still doesn't mean what you were asking for was wrong. If you're going and saying, I want to be able to drink at a water fountain with these people, if I actually have to go through the legislative process in order for me to drink from a water fountain that you have, what does that say about them? You know what I'm saying? Do you really want to be involved with the people who don't even want you drinking out of a water fountain that they drink? You don't go asking for that type of stuff. What happened was that generation, they went and they asked for social, which is basically euphemism for sexual access to whites. And now you have what we have here.
Wow. So the economic disparity that exists right now, you think it's far more than our control now because it's something that happened years and years ago. So let's bring it up to speed, 2017. How can we, as minorities, how can we change that, and how can we continue to educate the next generation about buying black?
You have to change the mind state of the people. You got to change the mind state of your children. You know, a lot of our parents, they got government jobs. Your dad's a mailman. Mm-hmm. Your dad works for the government, particularly in the state of Maryland. You know, a lot of people have federal jobs, Social Security. Cool job. You know, it's people making Social Security, I know a couple of them making close to $100,000 a year. Mm-hmm. They can't pass that job down. Once they're dead, that job goes to somebody else. You build a business for yourself. You pass that on to your children. We got to get it in our minds to stop telling our children, yeah, you need to get up and get a job. Don't tell your children you need to go get a job. Tell your children to get up and make a job.
Wow, that's deep.
And that's our problem. We are literally out of step with what you're supposed to teach your children. We're not teaching our children. Once you get that inculcated in your kids' minds, then that's when you start seeing the change. You have variety, you have options. The one thing we run into doing the blitzes and or finding businesses to blitz, we got a lot of people selling the same stuff. Mm-hmm. I get body oils, soaps, jewelry, just stuff like that, trinkets and things of that nature. And literally, that's what a lot of black folks are selling right now, trinkets. You know, the soap thing is cool because I tell everybody that I meet, I talk to, I'm saying, look here, there's absolutely no reason why in 2017 that you should have to buy your toiletries from a non-black entity.
And those are necessities. So
necessities.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's so many of us that sell that. There's absolutely no reason for you not to be able to go to, you know, a black person who sells this and say, hey, man, I'm gonna give you the thing of soap. You start changing from those little things. You know, if you don't have a problem buying soap from black folks, then that moves up to you don't have a problem buying your garments from black folks, and you don't mind buying a toaster. They don't mind buying a stove.
And then that process continues. Gotcha.
So on and so forth.
So let me ask you a question as it relates to that, because we actually talked about this prior to the show, and I know this is often said in our communities. Terrence, why would I buy from a black vendor when the quality of that product or that service may not be the same level as opposed to going across town and patronizing a white business?
If somebody tells you that, they're a liar, because I've seen it. The quality isn't bad. The service isn't bad. The product isn't bad. You go to these black restaurants, nobody really complains about the food. Like, it might be like, oh, it's a little bit too salty. You know, but nobody really complains about the food,
Mhm.
quality of food. They talk about, I had to wait 30 minutes to get my entree. So we're crazy selective about what we accept as good or bad customer service. You were just talking about this before the camera started rolling. That we're going to an Asian restaurant, no, Asian business, Arab business in those neighborhoods, and there's no human contact, human to human contact. It's a bulletproof glass between you and that person. You go to the zoo, they got those type of glasses between them and the gorillas.
Wow.
They'll touch the gorillas every once in a while. So they treat you worse than they treat the monkeys.
Wow.
That tells you how they think about you.
Wow. For people watching PowerPurposeRadio.com and certainly Facebook Live, I hope you guys really had an opportunity to hang on to that last point that you made, because that really puts things in a new and actually proper perspective, that you can patronize some Asian American businesses, call it what it is, corner stores, and they have that plexiglass so you can't make contact. But as Terrence said, literally you can go to the zoo and you still have access to stick your hand into a cage and the possibility of touching the animal at your own discretion, of course.
The farms and stuff, Elliott Oak Farms and whatever.